Hello everybody and welcome back. And I know I said in my previous video in the description I said that I was going to take a break from commentary videos and try to focus on making video games again, or video game videos, but this new shit just happened that absolutely pissed me off so much because listen, I wasn't really affected by it because it was mainly going to be in PC, obviously not on PlayStation, but it's still horrible because if you don't know, recently, yesterday basically, Activision just sent a cease and desist letter to HM2, which HM2 is basically a completely free mod that was made by a few, basically a team of just developers, sort of small developers, hoping to remaster Modern Warfare 2, while using a mod. And what you needed to do was have Call of Duty remastered, and then later put on that mod to be able to play Modern Warfare 2. I'm guessing, but it was supposed to it was hyped. That's what I'm trying to say. It was super hyped. Obviously, who wouldn't be hyped to Modern Warfare 2 remastered, where you can actually play the game? Because obviously you can't even play Modern Warfare 2 any of the old Call of Duty games because they're absolutely trash with their security. Anytime you want to try to play or even attempt to play it, you are at risk with your security, your privacy. It can go into your, some hacker can go into your bank account. They can get all your information because the security is absolutely horrible and old as hell. And Activision has not given a shit about trying to at least make it playable at all. They don't care, and they just want to have it just for the IP, I guess. But it sucks, and people have been desperately wanting to play the old games without having to deal with those problems. And maybe me too, because I missed a lot of the old games, and I would want to go back to them, but obviously I can't. Even if I even have the console for everything, I still can't go back because it's atrocious with the online servers. It's horrible and it's dangerous. And this one was supposed to actually be just that, but with actual good, fixes and improvements for everything of the game. But yesterday, Activision just sent a cease and desist letter towards that team. So basically, because of that, now they have to shut it down, which is absolutely insane to me. It's so annoying. So you, Activision, a AAA team, are willing to send a cease and desist letter to just a small team that was making a mod for free, not profiting off of it, just so the people enjoying those old games can go back to the times that they enjoyed Call of Duty. You sent them that instead of fixing your own servers yourself because of how greedy you are, because you're scared that it'll affect your sales or whatever, even though the sales on your game aren't gonna be affected at all. There's no affected any way it could affect any sales for any of your games. You're just a greedy fucking whore, and all you did is just ruin the opportunity of being able to go back to the old game just because of your greediness. It's outrageous as hell. And it's so sad because everyone was hyped for it. Everyone, almost like every phase member was hyped for it. Everyone was hyped for that game and was enjoying, or was basically enjoying the mod because they can go back to the old times. I mean, who wouldn't want to go back to the old Call of Duty when it was so fun? But because of that, now we lost that opportunity to be able to play the old Call of Duty. And it fucking sucks. It's horrible. It's so annoying because Activision is not losing any money from this. They aren't, because the team isn't putting any paywall behind it. It's completely free. So what was the point of that? I understand if they would be charging, I don't know, like 40, $50 to have a mod for one of your games, because I would understand that. But it isn't. It's literally free. What was the point of that? So are you telling me that you're not going to ever fix your games, but anyone that tries to make a mod that fixes your game, fuck them, and they're just evil, so we're sending them a cease and desist letter? What is the excuse of that? And because of that, yesterday my entire feed on Twitter was just basically plagued with everyone being just outraged with the cease and desist and Activision. And I don't blame them. 100% I agree. I don't blame them at all. And it's annoying as hell because there are some people who's like, well, what'd you guys expect? Obviously, it's gonna happen. It's RIP. Okay, congratulations, you guessed it. Thank you for having no faith in any team just so, we can all try to enjoy our time playing video games. Fuck you. We're trying to be hopeful that any team that maybe is willing to put time in their hands for free, not profiting off of anything, for gamers to enjoy the old times. Why are you being so negative over this shit? We're trying to just be hopeful, and this is the difference with something like this. I'm going to use an example. It's obviously not the exact same thing because it's basically two different sort of like genres, I guess, for video games. One's horror and one's obviously just first person shooter. So I'm going to be using this example, right? So this example is, let's say for example, I'm going to be using Scott Cawthon, right? Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, a super popular, video game because of how massive it is. It's insane. It ranges from kids to adults enjoying it, and it's scary. The first few games are really good, and then the other ones are pretty decent as well. And it has a huge fan base. Now, one thing about it that's so great, especially from the developer himself, is that he is completely fine with anyone sort of making any spin-off or whatever from his games. And it's great because many of the spin-offs from other developers, are actually really fun. Some examples I would say Five Nights at Candy's, The Joy of Creation. Some other games I'm just guessing off of my head right now, but just those games, they're really good, and it really helped out those people just trying to make a living with something like this. And it was really great because if Scott was a piece of shit as like Activision, we wouldn't have these games, and it would have really sucked. Now I would understand if he's trying to defend his sort of IP and everything, and people are just profiting off of just using his entire characters for themselves. I would understand that if he can send a cease and desist on that. But they're making spin-offs. People are making spin-offs off of those games, and they're really great. They really are. And he's not losing any money. He really isn't, because Five Nights at Freddy's is still one of the biggest games in the world, and it's still one of the games that absolutely changed gaming forever. Because I don't know if you know, but there have been so many games, like horror games, sort of inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's. And it's great that Scott is not as much of a piece of shit, or really a piece of shit like Activision, and only care about the money. Sure, for a while he was struggling with money making games because they weren't really great, and Five Nights at Freddy's was basically his last game until he probably would have given up. But luckily he didn't give up because that game was really good and kept going and going. But what I'm trying to say is that something like this is bad because Call of Duty has a massive fan base, and for me, I'm still hoping like I can go and play a Call of Duty game and enjoy the time I can, because I've been desperate, honestly, desperate to play a Call of Duty game, but there's no game that I really want to play right now. The past few games for Call of Duty have been absolute dog shit. For example, Cold War was okay. At first, it was really hated and it was really bad, I guess. But after a while, it definitely did better. Vanguard, absolute dog shit. Modern Warfare 2, absolute dog shit. The only good thing about it was the campaign. That was the only really good thing about it. After that, Modern Warfare 3, atrocious campaign. Okay, a sort of multiplayer. It's still a little shit. DMZ, it's cool, but it gets boring. It's been hard having to trying to play a Call of Duty game and not get bored. And Modern Warfare 3 has already been out for a while, so people are desperate for something because it's boring. Like, there are a lot of FaZe members aren't really playing that game much anymore right now until they add more shit, and they're hoping for something that can refill their energy of enjoying a Call of Duty game. And this was going to be it, a remaster of one of the best Call of Duty games, Modern Warfare 2, or Modern Warfare Remastered. And it was going to be it. And I already saw people enjoying it so much when they were playing it. They were enjoying it so much, but all that evaporated because of Activision and their greediness and not even earning any money or losing any money. they were not going to lose any money at all, because at that point no one was even going to buy them, like any of the old games. And the only reason people really actually even bought the Modern Warfare Remastered in Steam is so they can play on that mod. But basically, do you know how scummy that is? What they did basically is, in order for, like I said before, for them to be able to play the mod, you have to buy Modern Warfare Remastered, which is a game that has, like, horrible security, but you need it to have the mod. And they waited the entire time. Basically, people spend thousands, or not thousands, just, their money on something like that. They spent all their money on that just because they wanted to play that, and then Activision coming out of nowhere and sending them a cease and desist letter and basically just scamming their fans. That's extremely petty, so fucking scummy, and absolutely horrible. I don't understand what is the problem with that. It really shows to me that Activision does not give a shit about their fan base at all, and are only doing it for the money. They don't care what they release. They don't care what they do for the fans. They don't care what their fans say and trying to, improve their game. They don't care. They don't care at all. All they care is just getting the few extra pennies that they can get from any of their old games, even if people are still, not being able to play. It's so fucking scummy. And I'm really hoping that somehow, in some way, I don't know, the decision is, they change their decision, because it's so scummy. And I'm really hoping that the outrage right now, everyone calling Activision out right now, will do something. And it's honestly, boycotting Call of Duty, I don't think it is going to work at all. It really isn't, because they're already like $1 trillion company and have already earned a lot of money basically on Modern Warfare, and they're going to be making a lot from Black Ops 6. So it feels like boycotting it is not going to work really in this situation. But it might work calling them out on this shit, because it's absolutely scummy, and we shouldn't let something like this slide, because it's not cool. It really isn't. People wanted to play one of the oldest and one of the best games for Call of Duty, but all that it went to waste. All that effort those developers and the team put to make Call of Duty playable went to waste. It's so sad, and I feel horrible for them, because they weren't even making any money. They were just doing it for the good of their hearts, and it sucks so much. And it really does make me sad for them and for the people that were hoping to play the game, even after playing, or even after spending their money on a game that's so old that no one can even really play because of the security risks, just so they can play on that mod and play the old Call of Duty. It's so sad, and it sucks so much how scummy Activision is. And I don't know who the hell is running Activision right now and the higher ups up there, but they should be fired, and they're actually horrible. They really are. It sucks so much. I don't know what else I could really say. And again, this is not the first time they've done this before. There's been other times when small developers or a small team have done this before, where I think it was called SM2. They basically did the same thing using a mod while using their engine for Modern Warfare 2 to make a remastered, but they got sent a cease and desist letter and had to shut down, which sucks so much. It's not their first time ever doing this. It's been so many times that they've done this shit that it's horrible. I feel like Activision is really competing with Nintendo on not giving a shit and hating their fan base and anyone trying to, do better for and improve their games. It sucks so much. Like, I don't know who's worse at this point. It's honestly a close tie. And Activision, if anyone watches this from Activision, just wanted to say, like fuck you. Like, actually fuck you. I'm not saying this to any of them that, don't have any control over this shit. I'm just saying to the people that decided that this decision was the right decision. It's so petty. Like, what was the point of it? They aren't losing any money from this because it's free, and they aren't getting profited off of their engine and their IP because it wasn't. It was already a thing. They just made a mod for it. That's a problem. What's the problem with, honestly, so many developers or big AAA games or AAA teams? What is it with them having so many problems with, mods? Rockstar has problem with mods a while ago. Nintendo, not really Nintendo with mods, but they just hate their fan base overall with, like, Super Smash Bros. And then Activision as well. What's the problem with this? Also Sony, I'm pretty sure. But what is the huge problem with this? It makes no sense to me. I don't see how it's hurting you at all, because usually the mods are usually free, and you really aren't losing any money from this at all. It's awful. And I'm just letting you know also, if anyone that bought the Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare Remastered on Steam, it is apparently you can go and try to refund it, because what would be the point of even having that game if it's just you having the game and it's just a security risk. So there is a chance I think you can get refunded right now. I don't know if they still apply with the same 2 hours or 2 hours or less, and then you can get a refund. It's worth a try if you have spent more than 2 hours to get to refund the game, because there's no point in having it at that point, because the mod was the thing that carried the whole point of having the game. So I would just recommend refunding it if you can. And hopefully, I'm pretty sure from what I'm aware, Steam is actually accepting refunds. But yeah, that's all I really have to say for this. It's super sad. It really is, because I mean, I'm not affected really by this, but it still affects everyone else, and still really hurts as someone that really does enjoy Call of Duty at times. Like, I would be desperate to play a Call of Duty game, and if I wanted to play an old Call of Duty and this was my chance, I was like, hell yeah, finally I can go back and play the old Call of Duty and enjoy my time playing a Call of Duty game. But no, all that went to waste because of that cease and desist. And apparently, from what I'm aware, some of the FaZe members are going to try to contact, like, the higher ups of Activision to try to backtrack on their cease and desist. But it's likely that they won't change their mind or won't say anything at all. And I'm hoping that somehow all this outrage from towards Activision will change something in the end, because it sucks. It really sucks. There's no point of having any of the old Call of Duty games, because they're all awful. They're all old. There's no security, no improvements at all. There's so many problems with them, and they don't care. They just have it there, so if any dumbass wants to fucking get it, they get it, and then they'll realize the problems with it and regret buying it. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. I'm not really gonna go more on depth with this. I would recommend, if you to watch some other people that are higher ups, like FaZe members, mostly like Jev or other people, talking about the situation. They probably know way more than me. So again, I might have said some misinformation or stuff like that in this video. That's my bad. But I'm just I'm pretty upset and outraged with something like this, because it's really sad. It really is. It really shows that Activision does not care at all about their fan base, no matter what. All they care about is the money. Anyways, that's all I really have to say. I hope you enjoyed this TED Talk, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.